Good morning, everyone. It's August 6th, 2020, and welcome to Mornings with the Manager. As always, I'd like to give you, in the next 30 minutes or so, an overview of what we are doing here in the city of Monterey. And as always, I hope you're all doing fine and well out there, and that we all jointly getting through this COVID-19 pandemic sooner than later. That's probably our most joint common wish we have. Let me start with an update about what is going on with respect to the COVID-19 pandemic. As you can see from the data that is being published by the County of Monterey, our numbers are increasing. Every day we have still between 80 to 140 infections. The metrics to go and reopen restaurants again with indoor seating, etc., all those metrics are still in the very dark red arena. So nothing will change over the next couple of weeks. With respect to the metrics of fatalities, they also are influencing the reopening. And as you can tell from those metrics, that we are still suffering under fatalities caused by COVID-19. Every time this will happen, it will extend the clock, so to speak, that requires us to work within the current conditions. So our appeal to every single one out there, every business, every visitor, every resident is do the utmost you can do to prevent the spread of COVID-19. We are moving forward in certain areas that we know the residents and us are very concerned about, that affects our day-to-day interaction in our community. As you know, the city of Monterey is a tourist destination, and every single day we get tourist visitors coming to our town who are in the same situation as we are. They are living in areas where they also suffer or endure the effects of COVID-19, and their communities, their respective cities have different enforcement, have different standards set. If you go to another city outside of the city of Monterey, you will feel that cities have different vibes. And I feel here in the city of Monterey, we have created a good atmosphere of letting people know directly when they come into town that we are serious about the COVID-19 measures. But why I'm saying that is daily we have new people coming into town, and daily we have to ensure that they get the messaging that we want them to get. So it's a day-to-day task for our teams to inform everyone about the pandemic, to let them know that we have mandatory face covering required on Wharf 1 and the Canary Row in the section between Hoffman Avenue and David Avenue. And we're strongly encouraging, of course, to wear face coverings according to the state guidelines. But in those two areas, our city goes a step further and requires residents and visitors alike on Wharf 1 as well as on Canary Row to have mandatory face masks. The issue with respect to outdoor dining also is a topic that is of concern for us. The topic there is that we are allowed, or the state has allowed, that restaurants can take their operations outdoors. And the outdoor dining, as you can tell, has been embraced by some restaurants. If you walk down Alvarado Street, you see that the Alvarado Street Brewery has outdoor dining. The Rosines has outdoor dining. The Old Monterey Cafe, etc., Medici, the pizzeria there. All those places have now outdoor dining. And we have to also enforce the outdoor dining rules. The outdoor dining rules basically require that the tables and the chairs are also maintaining social distancing. And if you go down on Wharf number 1, you see that all the restaurants there are utilizing to a great extent outdoor dining. So what I wanted to tell you is that we have several groups of city employees, city authorized employees, daily checking the various regulations that apply for outdoor dining, for operating a business, for operating retail businesses, etc. We have every single day folks out there 7 days a week patrolling the areas and ensuring that we have the highest levels of compliance. The police department has dedicated their CAT teams, which is the community action team, a group of officers led by a lieutenant and a sergeant to be basically our team that will enforce those rules and educate the businesses should they be found in violation. We decided to just use the CAT team, the community action team, because we feel it's important that always the same officers are interacting with those businesses. Why we are doing that? Because first of all, the officers get very smart about the regulations and understand every single question they get and can answer that after a while. Second, it makes sure that we have consistency in the enforcement and we have consistency also with businesses that might become repeat offenders, and that way we also know what we can do with those businesses. We also have, as I stated earlier, code compliance officer out there. It's daily one officer, but they work 7 days a week. Physically, they are two different officers. And on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have 10 hours of code compliance every single day out there. And literally, I can assure you that on weekends, every single business on Canary Row and every single business on Wharf 1 and the outdoor areas are patrolled up and down 10 hours. We also supplement then the CAT team and the code compliance officers with the community services officers. These are folks also from the police department who are walking around, and they are helping with the educational process, reminding folks about wearing face coverings. Now, residents feel still uneasy about certain areas, and that's totally understandable. I also feel uneasy if I want to walk by an outdoor dining area where you see people basically in accordance with the state permission take a dinner, eat, or take a lunch without their face covering on, or enjoying a glass of wine or drinking a beverage. Again, chatting while they are doing that. And with that, when you pass by there, it's absolutely understandable that people do not feel comfortable with that. I feel the same way. So what we try to balance right now is to figure out a way that we get a message across that, number one, residents, visitors enjoy outdoor dining, and that is permitted by the state and the public health orders. But on the other hand, also we need to make sure that the residents that are passerby also feel comfortable. So this is a balancing act that we have to do, and we're trying to advise businesses, we're trying to advise also residents accordingly. We will do another outreach campaign to the businesses again to really ask them to adhere to all those measures. I can tell you right now, we have received concerns from residents that don't feel comfortable passing by those restaurants, but we have not received yet complaints from diners that are using those outdoor dining areas and have challenges with that. So in the end, right now, I personally avoid walking into areas where I think there could be a situation that is not 100% safe for me. So that is part of personal responsibility that every single one of us has to make those choices. I want to assure you that I think the face covering mandate on Canary Row, as well as on Wharf 1, is in the high 90% compliance. And with everything, there are exceptions, and those exceptions are medical exceptions that somebody can claim. And as part of that claim, we have no tool in the toolkit to ask someone for verification of that. But as I stated, the compliance is in the high 90%. And I understand that every single one of us has observations where they see someone without a face covering. And you understand also that the city cannot be everywhere every time. We're doing our utmost to be highly responsive. And with that, I want to let you know that we also follow up on reports that you are giving us. As soon as we hear from a business that allegedly is not in compliance, we are processing this immediately to the correct team. It could be the police, it could be the compliance officer, and sending them out to verify that. Every single time we hear something from you, or every single time somebody leaves us a voicemail, we are following up on that. So let me be assured that even postings that you pick up on Facebook and you're submitting us something from Facebook, we are going out and checking it out. There was a report from a gym on Del Monte Avenue that showed people exercising outdoors. It was maybe a Facebook post or something from the gym itself as a advertisement to a degree, and we saw people were not physically distancing. This very same day that we became aware of that, police was out there and have continued to go to those places to ensure that we are remembering who we reminded and helped to become into compliance. So this is going on. We talked about outdoor seating a little bit, and here's another change that is coming forward. On Tuesday, the council approved outdoor seating also in parking spaces on the street. That's called parklets. And city staff has worked very diligently with our businesses, and we are ready now to roll out our design standards for outdoor seating. And hopefully you will see parklets being used as outdoor dining areas. And why I say it's hopefully, because I think it will eliminate some of the issues that people may fear or feel when they walk on sidewalks that also work as outdoor seating areas. So if we have parklets, the need to sit on sidewalks will be reduced. And so I feel that the parklets will create another area, a dedicated area by the businesses for outdoor dining experiences as a safer option than having outdoor seating just on the sidewalks. We have received a few requests for the use of parklets, and as I said, we are in the final phases of rolling this out right now, and you may see outdoor seating sooner or later on Canary Row, on Wave Street, and also on Alvarado Street. So with that, I want to move on to the next topic that I wanted to touch, which is the council work on Tuesday night. We had a long night. It started at 4 o'clock, and the meeting went till about 11:15 that night. I can report to you that the council voted in the evening session to put a ballot measure onto the November 2020 election to increase the TOT by 2%. That decision was made after numerous meetings that staff held with hospitality industry, with neighborhoods, with other partners. We also had this topic 3 times discussed with the council, and it was ready for prime time last week, Tuesday. Not surprisingly, there were not a lot of phone calls that night because, again, we had discussed this topic over and over again, and the council voted 5-0 to put this ballot measure on in front of the voters, in front of you in November 2020. That ballot measure will require a two-third majority because it contains also special provisions for the neighborhood and community improvement program, which basically ensures that the 2% increase will go also fully to the NCIP program, the Neighborhood and Community Improvement Program. And because this money will go to the NCIP, a part of those additional tax revenues will go to the NCIP, that requires then a 66% majority. So we're looking forward. We submitted Wednesday morning, the ballot measure to the county, who is organizing the election. We received email confirmation that they received our request for that ballot measure, and we are actually hopeful that by the end of this week, we will receive a letter for that measure. And once the letter of the measure has been received, someone can run the campaign. Staff cannot advocate to vote against or for a tax measure. And so I'm just sharing with you the information about what the council has done. Ultimately, it is to every single one of us how we vote here in the town. Talking about elections, we also have a council election coming up in November 2020. And I want to give you a brief update who has filed the necessary paperwork to run for the city council. So for the position of mayor, our Mayor Clyde Robertson, has submitted his paperwork. And for the position as a city council members, the two incumbent members, Councilmember Alan Hoffer and Councilmember Dan Albert, have also filed for re-election for the City Council of the City of Monterey. But we also have received 2 more candidate filings submitted by Zoe Carter and by another resident. His name is Hunter Garrison. So right now we have a total of 4 candidates running for the council seats open. There will be 2 council seats open, and then we have the mayor running for re-election. You can see a complete list of those folks that have submitted their candidate filings, but also from those folks that have asked us to get paperwork. And there's a difference. Every single one of us can ask for this paperwork, but only after you have filed, you are eligible to run for council. So that you will see 2 or 3 more names on that publication of folks that have asked us to submit or to send them the paperwork, and they have not submitted their paperwork yet. On our website, if you go onto monterey.org, select the city clerk, it will show you a complete list of folks that have asked us for paperwork. What I shared with you today are actually candidates who have filed. And again, the filing ends on Friday, tomorrow at 5 p.m. So I will let you know maybe in 2 weeks, but prior to that, you can find out on the website who has filed for running for a city council of the city of Monterey. I want to share with you another information that is interesting, that is also kind of relatively new for city staff, because things develop as you can imagine during the pandemic, and one of those things affects seriously also our sales tax. Online sales are going up. Probably every single one of us has done more online in the past 4 months than ever before. And you will see this reflective also in the consumer behavior for certain consumer goods that you used to buy in brick and mortar stores here on the peninsula, or specifically in the city of Monterey. So the online sales are really eating away from the sales tax generated in the city of Monterey. How do they do that? Even though if you purchase something on Amazon.com, a local sales tax is being collected, and you pay that sales tax, and the online retailers are remitting the sales tax. The thing, though, is that the way the sales tax gets collected um, is really hurting the city, because if you purchase something in the city of Monterey in a brick and mortar store, and let's say we get $1 in taxes and sales tax out of that purchase, the same purchase online, we only get about 10 cents of that. And that is because there's a formula that the state is using that pools all the sales tax revenue in a county pool, and then according to the allocation of each city, the proportionate allocation out of that pool, the sales tax from online sales gets redistributed. And for the city of Monterey, that means we are losing on every online sale anywhere between 80 to 90% of the taxes that we get. Again, keep in mind my example. If you purchase something at Del Monte Shopping Mall for it, and the city, will receive $1 in sales tax there. If you purchase the same item online, our tax receipt will be around 10 cents to 20 cents. So we experience that right now because a lot of folks have switched their behavior, their consumer behavior, rightfully so, to online sales, because we want people to stay healthy, shelter in place, avoid risking to get ill or get infected through community spread. But that's one of the side effects right now that we see. I want to go quickly to some questions about break up the districts with the supervisors. That's not my topic. We have nothing to do with how to do the districts of the supervisors. It's not our job to discuss that. It's what elected officials can do, but that's not our staff intent or staff mission. Again, I would ask you, if you have concerns about the suggestions of that, contact your elected officials here in the city. That's their job to look at districting of our supervisors if there are concerns. And you know that the parklets will be allowed on Alvarado Street. And then the other question is, I don't understand. I'm sorry, I don't understand the 2% question there. I want to move on to another topic that is important for today, which is Census 2020. Census 2020 is in its last couple of months. The federal government has cut short the deadline for the submittal of the Census 2020 data. And by September 30th, now the census has to be completed. And today happens to be the Get Out the Count Day in California. So what you will see today also on our social media social media channels, sometimes social media are challenges, but what you will see today on our social media channels is a concerted effort to motivate folks again who have not being counted to go out and do the count. And it's pretty straightforward. You go online at 2020 census.gov, G-O-V, 2020 census.gov, and you can be counted. 9 straightforward questions. Every piece of information is by law held strictly confidential. But it's very important for the communities and for the state of California that there are accurate accounts, because the distribution of federal tax monies depends also to the communities, depends on the census data. Also important is congressional representation. Also in Washington depends on census data. Now the overall numbers in the national response rate is at 63%. In California, we are trending at 64%, so that's 1 percentage point higher than the national average. Monterey County is lower than California's average. We are in Monterey County at 60%. And the data for the city of Monterey is we are at 69%. So that's the highest of all the four numbers I just threw out there. So we are doing, compared to other numbers, not too bad. 69% is a very good high response rate. The last time I looked, it's actually the highest here in the county. But we can do better. And what will happen over the next couple of weeks is that now people will come and knock at your doors. Enumerators will come to those who have not yet submitted their census data. And of course, 69% response rate is very high. And so the enumerators will not go door to door. They just will go to those places where the census office has not received any feedback yet. The census data that is being counted for the city of Monterey will have effects also on our funding here in the city of Monterey, will also have effect on school districts. So if you could do yourself and us all a favor, fill out your census form if you haven't done it, or if you have friends and family, remind them to please do that. It's wherever they live, it's important that we get counted. And also for us as city staff, we use census data many times when we argue for improvements, when we look and analyze travel patterns, when we look at affordable housing opportunities, when we look at all those issues associated with that. Census data helps us to really analyze and provide solutions, proposals to the elected officials and to you, to the community, which make the greatest sense. So with that, I really hope you can embrace today, which is Get Out the Count Day, but also encourage you all to go out and fill out your census form. With that, I hope you are staying healthy out there, and I hope that every single one of you has a good weekend. I assure you that we're trying our best to ensure that everyone stays healthy and safe in the city of Monterey. As I stated before, it is an ongoing task to re-educate every single day new folks that are coming into town, and we are taking that obligation very seriously. It comes down to personal responsibility, and also sometimes science is not embraced by those who look at certain restrictions more through political glasses. And again, we try to maneuver among all those different challenges and get it done. I hope you all stay healthy and safe. And if you have questions, please email me. I always appreciate emails that you guys send me after those mornings with the manager. And with that, I hope you have a great weekend. And thank you all for listening today. Thank you very much.